While most kids are playing video games or basketball, others don't have time for fun activities because they need to help their parents put food on the table. Not everyone is lucky to have a great childhood, and this is a sad truth. However, some of these kids are ingenious, and they're willing to put in hard work in order to make a couple of bucks. This is exactly what a kid who was selling his candy in front of a Target store was doing, and his story went viral after a mean old lady started yelling at him and threatening to call the police because he didn't have a permit. Some people are entrepreneurs from a young age, and instead of spending their time fooling around with other kids, they choose to start a business and make some money to help their parents. Since they're thinking about making a living at such a young age, it's safe to say that these kids have a bright future ahead of them.
Also, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these real-life stories every day. Now, back to the story.
A young boy from the United States came from a family that didn't have enough money to survive the next day. He and his sister didn't get to enjoy the carefree life other kids had, so they decided to do something about it. Little did he know that day would go terribly wrong. The kid had a box filled with candy from Halloween, and he decided to sell it in front of the local Target store. Isn't that amazing? Most kids would just eat up all the candy as soon as they got it. But this kid and his sister knew their priorities. They had a plan and everything was supposed to go smoothly. The kids also made the right decision by going to the Target store because hundreds of people visit this place every day in order to get their groceries. However, there was something that these kids didn't think about. Who could have imagined someone would pick on them? With the money these kids would get from selling their Halloween candy, they'd be able to help their parents with the groceries and eat some hot meals for a few days. The little entrepreneurs got in trouble, and it wasn't even their fault. As kids, we learned to be entrepreneurs by setting up a lemonade stand and waiting for customers. We would offer refreshing juice, gain some money, and learn that hard work is repaid, as well as how important it is not to spend everything we'd earned. These kids were doing the same thing. You see, these kids gathered their candies, placed them into 2 boxes, and went to the closest Target. There they talked to the manager and asked him if it was okay to sell the candy in front of the store to earn some extra bucks. The manager agreed under some conditions. For the kids to sell their candy, the products had to be in their package and clean. The goods had to be unexpired and kept in the shade. Thankful for the manager's kindness, the siblings separated to cover the 2 entrances at Target, both sitting in the shade to sell their candy. Then the boy is approached by an old woman. As the kid was minding his own business, a mean old lady started yelling at him. She was mad that he was selling his candy, and she kept screaming at him to pack up his candy and leave. What was happening? He didn't say anything rude to her, and she was yelling out of nowhere. As the old lady was screaming at him, the kid told her to please let him be because he just wants to make a couple of bucks and that he'll be on his way. Can you really blame him? This kid was basically doing the same thing we did with a lemonade stand or selling cookies at a fair. He was asking himself what was wrong and why the woman yelled at him. The box and the candy were clean, every package was intact, and he was sitting in the shade so the chocolate won't melt. But the old woman kept yelling. Here's why she was making a scene. Yelling at the kid to go home wasn't enough for the mean old lady, and she started making a scene. She kept asking the kid if he had a license, and she was yelling at the Target store guards to come and pick him up or else she'll call the police. Can you believe this? But things would soon get better for this kid. A young woman named Andy Lizarraga, who was accompanied by her mother, was just getting out of Target when the old lady was making a scene. Andy took out her phone and began recording those moments, and the video soon went viral once it was published on Facebook. Here's what she said in the video description. Outside a Target, someone was selling candy. As my mom and I were walking away, a lady went up to this person and told him she wanted to see their license to sell. But as the woman was furiously yelling at the kid, the young boy began tearing up. Thankfully, someone comes to save the day. The old lady wasn't just scaring him, she was making him feel bad for trying to help his family earn some money. The video taken by Andy was posted online first to be seen for the ones in her friends list, and then someone told her to make the post public because people had to see it. What was so special about the next scenes?
I showed it to friends and family, not intending it to go viral at all. I just guess people started sharing it and sharing it.
Why did it go viral? It was a stranger that made this kid's day, and everyone around the world was impressed to tears. Out of nowhere, a stranger comes in and tells the old lady that she should be ashamed of herself. The boy's doing something good and she's picking on him for no good reason. In a later interview with a local media, we learned the man's name was Lopez. What did he say about that day? He was in tears.
She continued to yell at her and scream at her and tell her that if she didn't have her permit, she was going to go to jail, that the sheriffs were on their way.
Thinking that the cops would come and put him and his sister in jail, the kid panicked. Sticking up for the young kid wasn't enough, and the stranger told him he was gonna buy all the candy.
I'm buying it all.
Fine, I want to see.
I'm buying it all. I am gonna buy it all. I'm gonna give it away to all these people. Be ashamed of yourself.
He told to the old lady, who was in shock. She couldn't believe what was going on and she kept yelling. The stranger told the old lady that she's ruining the kid's day. He's a good kid for deciding to earn some money instead of hanging around in the park doing nothing all day long. Everyone agreed, and the old lady had no idea her way of thinking and behavior would backfire. The worst thing to happen here is the old lady threatened to call the cops to arrest the young boy for not having a permit to sell the candy. How can someone be so mean? Hopefully she'd learned her lesson. We have to give praise to the stranger who decided to stick up for the kid. He didn't just make his day better, he also told the old lady a valuable lesson. The kid stopped crying and he thanked the stranger for his good deed. He didn't know how to calm the old lady down, and he was also afraid the cops might come to arrest him. The stranger ended up buying all the candy from the kid and giving him an extra tip. The kid couldn't have asked for a better deal. Seeing the old lady simply stand by idly while the stranger was paying for the kid's candies really satisfying. At that moment, she'd probably realized she was in the wrong. As you can surely imagine, the video of the old lady screaming at the kid went viral. The video got more than 6 million views in less than a week. Everyone in the comment section of the video agreed with the stranger and said that the old lady's just being mean-spirited for no good reason. To make things even more wholesome, the young kid said that he's gonna buy groceries for his family with all the money he got from the stranger. We're glad to let everyone know that our story has a happy ending. Even though the kid was scared by the mean old lady, he managed to sell all his candy and buy food for his family.
If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with someone who may find it interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.